Hey guys, CoreX hosting here. So I have every single fan up and going, all 32. I know a couple months ago when we were doing the fans, we said we had, the top half and then most of the bottom. We had a couple stragglers. We went through and rebuilt a couple of the fans. It was actually on numbers 7 and 8 over here. There's a couple bad fans. And to be honest, what we also noticed, the fans that are borderline a couple months ago are now okay. And I think what happened is, it was cold when we were messing with it originally, and now that it got warmer, everything kind of settled differently, and it sat in there better. It's just weird with the hot and cold, metal, shrinks, it expands, and then it fits and does a little bit better. So right now we have 32 exhaust fans, all looking very good, and as you can see, they're all running, and actually, I bumped down the threshold to when they kick on. And so they're all set up to run, but it wasn't getting quite hot enough. And so I bumped that threshold down even more than so factory was at 50 Celsius when that fourth fan kicked in. I bumped that way down to 35 Celsius on the hot aisle temperature, like right in front of these exhaust fans. When that temperature hits a certain amount, it kicks on the fans in a certain order, a certain number of them. And so that threshold was 50. I bumped it down to 35, and then I just recently bumped it down to 30, because right now these are all running just over 30 Celsius on the hot side. And that fourth fan wasn't quite kicking on yet. And so I figured it's getting hot out. I'd rather have more exhaust, which in turn means more intake than less. So I bumped down the threshold. So as you can see right now, all 4 fans are on. Now today's, it's not gonna be too hot today. It's gonna be like 85, which is pretty warm for this time of the year. But the problem is today, it's just so muggy. It is like 80% dew point. It is not very fun out. It's hot and it's muggy, so it doesn't feel very good. So the air is thicker, and so I do notice that when it's thicker like that, it just doesn't, anything cooling doesn't run as well. So that's why all 4 fans are staying on a little bit more than I think they would if it was just 85 and normal out, which is fine. I'd rather have it testing it now, make sure everything's working like it's supposed to, make sure it kicks on, kicks off like it's supposed to. So when it turns into 90, 95, it's working as good as it can be. And so yeah, that's the exhaust side. So we're up and going. As of right now, I'm ready to go on the exhaust side for the summer. What I am going to do is I have a couple tricks for the intake to raise the intake. So I'm not showing those on the video today, but just so you know, when it gets really hot and we need more intake, I have a couple tricks to make that better. So I'm going to start prepping that for when the time comes. I'm not going to implement that until, probably till like May-ish. When we, late May, and so it's going to be hot every day, all day long, and then I'll implement those. We'll see how this goes here. So always testing, always keep an eye on stuff, always seeing, okay, what's to do when it's this temperature, what's to do when it's that temperature, and just figuring out how these things operate, because everything's a little bit different. Every little container is a little bit different. Some are better here, some are better there, and just, if you're a hosting company and you have one style container or 5 different styles of containers at different locations, you got to figure out how each of them operate. And then even the different locations, airflow is different coming in. Where like my other location, it's pretty much hidden behind the building, so there's not a lot of wind. Where in here, there's a lot of wind, and so I notice when the wind's going at the exhaust, it stays hotter because that exhaust air is not getting out as easily. And so like today, the wind's coming from the other direction and coming towards the intake. It runs a little bit better. So it's little things like that you got to pay attention to and always be aware of it. And so you can make this work as best as it can be, because it's not going to be perfect, but you know where it sucks and where it's good at, and kind of plan accordingly. So yeah, hopefully that's gave you guys some information. I'm gonna get out of here and go do a couple other things, but I wanted to get this done here while it's hot, have a good couple test days. It's supposed to be like 85-ish a couple days this week, which is good. Get some tests on, but as I said, we're ready to go for the summer. So thank you guys. If you guys want to get your ASICs hosted here, S21s, BitDeer A2 Pros, L9s. I know the L9 price has been pretty good here lately. Give me an email at contact@corexhosting.io or on our website, corexhosting.io. There's a contact form. You can fill it out. I'll then call you and contact you that way, and then kind of go from there. So, yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good day.